Let's just say the tension between Multnomah County and regional government Metro has been running hot, specifically when it comes to taxpayer money meant for homeless services. This week, our team filed a public records request asking for text messages between Metro Council President Lynn Peterson and Multnomah County Chair Jessica Vega Pederson. We got those messages late last night, and they give us a behind-the-scenes look at communications between two of the most powerful local government leaders. And let's just say you could feel the frustrations with each other. But before we get to those texts, a little background and context so the messages make sense. On February 21st, so a Friday, Multnomah County Chair Jessica Vega Pederson held a news conference sounding the alarm that the county's Homeless Services Department is facing a budget shortfall of $104 million. The chair said if money didn't come in from the state, neighboring counties, and regional government Metro, 25% cuts could be coming to homeless programs.
This morning, I've sent letters to the state of Oregon and Metro requesting that they each provide more resources to prevent devastating cuts to life-saving and life-changing services. I do want to be clear that I'm asking for existing resources that have already been raised from taxpayer dollars and do not request any new taxes to be raised.
Chair Vega Pederson is blaming much of the budget gap on projections that the Supportive Housing Services Tax, or SHS, which Metro is responsible for collecting, will bring in far less money this year as opposed to last. That's money meant to address homelessness and revenue the county's Homeless Services Department depends on heavily to fund hundreds of nonprofits doing the frontline work on the streets. Now, we learned yesterday the SHS tax money funds nearly half of all homeless service programs in the metro region of Multnomah, Clackamas, and Washington counties. So a big deal. But when Chair Vega Pederson sent her letter to Metro Council President Lynn Peterson asking for help filling the budget gap, Peterson was apparently blindsided, according to these texts that we received. This is from the chair's cell phone. The message from Metro President Peterson came in at 3:16 in the afternoon on February 21st, less than 90 minutes after the chair's news conference ended. Metro President Peterson writing, "For the record, your call to me this week about your shortfall, you never mentioned an ask for or a letter. I am appalled that you called and did not specify. I have a lot of questions that will need to be answered about your request." Chair Vega Pederson never responded. Then, a week later, President Peterson sent another text, double texting here, to the chair saying that Metro's council would be creating an ordinance to change Metro's code, allowing them to work directly with the city of Portland on funding overnight shelters, which has been a focus since Portland Mayor Keith Wilson stepped into office. And this time, Chair Vega Pederson responded. And let's just say it got a little spicy. What the chair said is in blue here. She wrote, "While I appreciate the text, I am appalled by the backroom dealing you've had with the mayor about this. I found out from him this week that you had called him and offered the money to him directly without any engagement with myself, our attorneys, or the other counties. You've been hearing from myself and the other county chairs for almost a year about the forecasted deficits for SHS, and yet it took months to get any kind of scenarios on proposed change impacts. I will let our attorneys and our board know about this." Whoa. Okay, so Chair Vega Pederson is not having it, and apparently was not happy that Metro President Lynn Peterson allegedly offered Metro collected tax money to Portland Mayor Keith Wilson without her knowing. But Metro Council President says that is not what happened. She had told Chair Peterson about her meeting with the mayor. Chair Vega Pederson shot back, writing, "You did not mention that you reached out to him. The mayor has been clear that he has been making the rounds to fundraise, but clarified to me this week that in this case you reached out to him." Now we're assuming here that that's a typo there, should be reached instead of rewatched. Okay, so lots of she said, he said here, and it gives us a look at how these governments are working together or not. So today we asked Chair Vega Pederson and President Peterson to be on the show tonight. Both declined and sent statements instead. Chair Vega Pederson said, It's no secret that conversations regarding revenue forecasting and our homeless services budget deficit have been tense because the stakes are so high for those who count on these critical services. It's still an open question of how Metro is going to partner with Multnomah and other counties in addressing the SHS shortfall that is having a real impact in what's happening in our communities. She went on saying, like Metro, our main concern is for the people in need of supportive housing services and the expectation of voters who approved this program to make homelessness rare and brief in our region. Don't worry, we paused too when we read to make homelessness rare and brief in our region because it has been anything but. Now, a spokesperson for Metro Council President Lynn Peterson told us today that Portland Mayor Keith Wilson came to the Metro Council in early February asking for support for his homelessness plan, perhaps part of his fundraising efforts that Chair Vega Pederson was talking about. The Metro spokesperson continued saying in part, the Metro Council has been very public about finding ways to meet the public's expectations of a successful SHS program. This is the most important challenge in our region, and we have to get it right. And I also reached out to Mayor Keith Wilson's team since he's sort of the beneficiary among all of this political infighting. And they told us Mayor Wilson is deeply grateful for the collaboration and support of our partners at Metro, whose efforts are vital in helping cities address the crisis on our streets. Earlier this week, we told you how the Multnomah County Commission unanimously approved a resolution back on March 13th to direct $15 million of SHS money from Metro to the city of Portland instead of keeping it to lessen the county's budget gap. The move was coined as a symbol of the commitment between the county and the city when it comes to homelessness. And despite Chair Vega Pederson being appalled that Metro President Peterson talked with Mayor Wilson about the Metro money, she voted yes to send the money to the city anyway. But Metro's council still has to approve that. And Metro still has another $15 million of those dollars it could dish out, which could, and I stress could, still go to Multnomah County. And we'll be watching. All right, if you were able to follow all of that, your weekend is well deserved. So what is going through your mind after seeing those texts? And what's happened since? Did anything surprise you? Let us know. Email us at thestory@kgw.com or call and leave a voicemail 503-226-5090.